Dill. First thing, why don't you all introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Okay. हाम्रो परिचय दिनु अरे पहिला चाहिँ मै दिन्छु. In English or in Nepali?
Whichever feels more comfortable.
Okay, my name is Dil. Dil Buzil. I am the school liaison for the Sufal School District.
My name is Prem Sunwar. Actually, originally I'm from Bhutan. Currently I'm working on a Smithfield.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So my name is Vishnu Gajmer. I'm from Bhutan. So right now I live in Sufals. So I work in Smithfield right now. Thank you.
My name is Man Mogar. I am from Bhutan. I live in Sufa. I work at Stamar.
My name is Dil Rai. I'm living in Sufal, so working at Smithfield company.
So we're going to start with a general question. What are your hopes and dreams for your children?
एउटा प्रश्न आएको छ अनि यो चाहिँ हाम्रो नानीहरूको लागि विशेष हाम्रो भविष्यमा आशा के छ अनि हाम्रो सपना के छ नानीहरूको बारेमा हामीले विशेष के आशा राखेका छौँ र हाम्रो सपना के बोकेका छौँ नानीहरूको बारेमा हामी मध्येमा कसले भन्ने यसको बारेमा
पैसा दिने
ठिकै छ म
हजुर भन्नुहोस्
ओके नेपालीबाटै
हजुर
हुन्छ
हुन्छ
खासै अब मैले अलिकति स्कुल एजुकेसनको बारेमा मैले अलिकति बोल्नु पर्दाखेरि होइन अब भोलि गएर हाम्रो नानीहरूको भविष्यको बारेमा मैले बोल्नु पर्दाखेरि अहिले हामी लगभग यहाँनिर आएको 12-13 वर्ष जस्तो हुँदैछ होइन हामी आउँदाखेरि अब हामीसँग नानीहरू जस्तै 7 वर्ष 8 वर्ष 10 वर्षको नानीहरू हामीले यहाँनिर लिएर आयौँ त यहाँनिर आउँदाखेरि तपाईँको 6-7 होइन 6-7मा 8मा लाग्यो त्यो नानीहरू होइन
Do you want me to interrupt that? So, if I have to talk about the educational system and our hopes and dreams about our children, when we came here in like 9-10 years ago, our kids were little and they were just in the middle school age.
र त्यस पश्चात भनेको अब हाम्रो नानीहरूले 9-10मा अर्थात् यहाँनिरको 12 कम्प्लिट गर्यो होइन हाम्रो नानीहरूले हाम्रो नानी हाम्रो समाजको नानीहरूले र त्यस पछाडि भनेको हाम्रो नानीहरू त्यहाँबाट जान सकेन जस्तै अब 12 त कम्प्लिट भयो यहाँ त अब यहाँको गभर्मेन्टले नि 12 त पढाइदियो तर त्यहाँबाट पढ्न सकेन भन्नाले उनीहरूसँग पढ्न नसक्ने त्यो क्षमता नभएको त होइन तर पनि अब अभिभावकसँग अर्थात् होइन प्यारेन्ट्ससँग चाहिँ पर्याप्त रूपमा पैसा नभएकोले गर्दाखेरि जस्तै अब कलेज पढ्न सकेको चाहिँ अवस्था होइन
So, our kids started here in school and then however they completed the graduation, they got a diploma, but due to certain barriers, most of them were not able to go to the college. It's not, I don't mean to say that they don't have a knowledge to go to college, but they don't have enough budget or the expenses that they need to get ready for the college. That was one of the factors.
अब त्यो नानीहरूले होइन अब हाम्रो समाजको नानीहरूले चाहिँ अब अलिकति त्यहाँबाट पनि माथि एउटा स्कलरसिप विशेष गरी होइन स्कुलले चाहिँ हाम्रो नानीहरूलाई अब हामी एउटा कुरो त अब नयाँ मान्छे नि पऱ्यौँ अब धेरै वर्ष नि भएको छैन हामी यहाँनिर बसेको त्यसले गर्दाखेरि अब हामीसँग पर्याप्त रूपमा पैसा नभएकोले गर्दाखेरि त्यो नानी तिनीहरू उसले पढ्ने इच्छा हुँदै पनि पढ्न उसले नपाएको कारण चाहिँ एउटा अभिभावकसँग अर्थात् प्यारेन्ट्ससँग चाहिँ पर्याप्त रूपमा पैसा नभएकोले गर्दाखेरि उनीहरूले पढ्न पाइरहेको छैन त्यसले गर्दाखेरि अब उनीहरूको पढाइ तिनीहरू एन्डिङ भयो यानि स्टप भयो र एउटा सानोतिनो काममा लागेर चाहिँ अब तिनीहरूको फ्युचर नि अब राम्रो भइरहेको छैन विशेष गरी
So because they don't have much funding for the college, most of our high school graduates were not able to go further or do their further education. And if there would be some kind of scholarship for them, it would be great. But due to the lack of that, or maybe they don't know how to find the help, they ended up working in some kind of lower level, like entry level jobs, and then they started totally depending on those kind of like smaller jobs that doesn't have much like a high income.
Yeah.
र त्यो नानीले चाहिँ अब त्यो स्टुडेन्टले चाहिँ एउटा स्कलरसिप पाएर चाहिँ नि राम्रोसँगले अब त्यहाँबाट उँभो एउटा युनिभर्सिटी पढ्दाखेरि भनेको कलेज पढ्दाखेरि भनेको त्यो अब राम्रो जागिर पाएर भोलि गएर यही देशलाई त काम दिन्छ होइन, त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ नि स्कलरसिप दिए चाहिँ एकदमै राम्रो हुन्थ्यो.
Good. So my
scholarship
so I was hoping if there would be some kind of scholarships or some kind of help to the high school graduates so that they can go to college and take their education to the higher level. When they get a good education, they will eventually work for the country. In return, they will return the favor to the country. So my hope was, and future dream for the kids were like, if there would be some kind of scholarship program for us, like the people who are new to the country, we would really appreciate it.
Yeah, me too. Or at least knowing about it would be good.
Yes.
Would you mind telling us a little bit about your journey to Sioux Falls?
हामी सुफलमा आउनुभन्दा अगाडिको सुफलमा हामी कसरी हामी यसको बारेमा छोटो यात्रा हामीले कसरी गर्यौं, सुफलसम्मको यात्रा, यसको बारेमा अब हजुरहरु मध्येमा कसैले भन्नुहुन्छ? हुन्छ, जसले भन्नुभयो
हुन्छ म भन्दा नि.
ओके.
सुफलभन्दा हामी यात्रा चाहिँ हाम्रो चाहिँ मेरो चाहिँ कस्तो भयो भने हैन, अब फर्स्ट टाइम प्लेन चढेको उहाँदेखि है, अनि एकदमै डराउने हैन, डर लागेको थियो. तर अब बिस्तारै अब काठमाडौँसम्म आउँदाखेरि हैन, यहाँ अलिक डरहरू हराए कुनै के अवस्थामा थियो.
So if I have to tell about my experience, that was my first time to get on the plane. So from the camp, we got in the plane, and then we came to Kathmandu. So at that time, my fear about flying on the plane was a little bit lower than what I had it before I was on the plane. Was it?
अनि काठमाडौँमा आउँदा चाहिँ अनि एउटा ठुलो हैन बस्ने धेरै मान्छेहरू हैन भेलाउँदा एकै ठाउँमा खानापिना खानु त्यतिखेर हैन अलिकति मलाई चाहिँ कस्तो अड फिल भएको थियो हैन. अनि घुलमेलमा अब के हो कता हामीलाई त कहाँ लगेको डर लाग्न थाल्यो क्या त्यहाँदेखि त. अनि
भविष्यको बारेमा चिन्तित थियो भन्थ्यो न.
अनि यात्रामा चाहिँ हैन, अनि हामी 3 दिन चाहिँ उहाँ बस्यौँ हैन. अनि 3 दिन पछाडि चाहिँ त्यहाँदेखि चाहिँ मेरो चाहिँ उडाइ भयो हैन. त्यहाँदेखि काठमाडौँदेखि चाहिँ त्यहाँ प्लेन त्यहाँदेखि अलिक बानी भयो हैन. त्यहाँदेखि सुफलमा आइपुग्यो भनौँ न, सिकागोमा आइपुग्यो प्लेनदेखि. सिकागोदेखि चाहिँ यहाँ सुफल.
So when we landed, when we came to Kathmandu, there was a place where lots of people were living together. We were put in the same place, and then I was so nervous or confused. Don't know, because we have no idea what is going to be the next. And all the people were living there, and like a large like group of people. And then was a little bit scared, not knowing what is the next step. But then after 3 days being in Kathmandu with a big mass of people living together, we fly from Kathmandu we fly and we landed in Chicago. From Chicago we came to Sioux Falls.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did all of you live in Bhutan before coming to Nepal?
हामी सबैजना भुटान बसेको हो नेपाल आउनुभन्दा अगाडि.
सबै बस्यो
Yes, we are.
Tell us a little bit about what life was like in Bhutan.
भुटानमा हाम्रो जीवन कस्तो थियो यसको बारेमा कोही बोल्न चाहनुहुन्छ? नभएदेखि म आफै भनिदिन्छु. जसले भनेको हुन्छ. हजुरले भन्नुहुन्छ?
खासै मलाई त्यति थाहा छैन हैन
त्यसैले
र पनि अब
हजुर
तर म भन्दा अलि थाहा पाउनेहरू भन्दा
हजुर भन्नुहुन्छ भुटानमा कस्तो खालको जीवन थियो?
खोइ भुटानमा त खासै मैले चाल पाउँदा चाहिँ होइन
हजुर
हामी चाहिँ अब खेती किसान गर्ने हो होइन अनि त्यही हो अब बारीमा काम गर्ने खेतीपाती लाउने गाईबस्तु चराउने होइन अब
स्कुल
त्यस्तै एउटा
राम्रो थियो
देश रमाइलो थियो राम्रो नै भनौँ न
हजुर
र पछिको अब त्यो त आन्दोलनको कुराहरू त मलाई त याद पनि आउँदैन थियो जसो बसाइ चाहिँ हाम्रो राम्रो थियो त्यो ठाउँमा होइन.
So if I have to talk about Bhutan, when we were back in Bhutan, we all grew up in the farm and we take care of our crops and cattle and we do a lot of agricultural field like a work. And I was not that big, I mean not that grown up to know all about the fighting going on in Bhutan. But it was a very peaceful living and a very good life in Bhutan. Let me add on to that, just to clear. Bhutan is a very small landlocked country where king is the head of the state, head of the country. He makes the rule. And right now, when we were there, it was an absolute monarch country. But now we heard that it is a constitutional monarchy. Which we don't know for sure, and there is all education system in Bhutan are in English, based like English level, English medium, and rules and laws are very strict, and people have like if they work hard, they have a good life. All the education system in Bhutan when we were there were all free. Right from elementary to 10th grade, which is called the high school. And from 10, when we were there back in Bhutan, at that time it was like there was only one college, which is called Kanglung College. And all the high schools and the elementary and the middle school. Elementary school are called primary school. And middle school were called junior high school, and 9th and 10th grade were called high school. And most of the people in Bhutan are farmers, hardworking, and very loyal to the government, and the law follower, most of us. Okay. Does that explain something?
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Okay.
And then, so you moved because of the fighting from Bhutan
Yes.
to Nepal. Can you tell us a little bit about what it was like in Nepal?
नेपालमा के कस्तो अवस्था थियो भुटानदेखि हामी नेपाल आयौँ नेपालमा के कस्तो अवस्था थियो त्यसको बारेमा छोटो भनिदिनु पर्ने हो भन्दिनु म. So we ran away from Bhutan and came to India and stayed in Indian jungle for a couple of weeks, and then somehow we were rescued by some Indian people, and then they brought us to Nepal, and in Nepal we expected a very good life because it was the country of Nepali, just like we, but we didn't have that kind of a good situation when we came to Nepal. We live in the river bank first of all, when we came, we stayed in a river bank. There's a big river in the eastern part of Nepal, which is called Mai, and we lived right in the bank, like right on the sand, nearby Mai River, and there was nothing, no help. So everybody were on their own. Life was horrible. People were dying of lots of pandemic like cholera, diarrhea, dysenteries, and malaria, and those kind of pandemics. And we have a very, we don't have an actual house. We construct a very little hut out of the branches of trees and leaves, and that we gather from the nearby wood, which were also restricted by the Nepali people, that we were not able to go into their place. They said, this is our land, so we cannot like go around and cut everything or bring anything that, you know, we needed for our daily life. The life was very horrible. And after 1.5 years, we were moved, like by some international agencies. We were moved to a different place. Life was a little better in that camp that is called Beldangi Refugee Camp. And another was, there were 7 refugee camps. One was Beldangi 1 Refugee Camp, Beldangi 2 Refugee Camp, Beldangi 3 Refugee Camp, and Saniswari Patri, Saniswari Refugee Camp, and another one was Khujunabari Refugee Camp, and Goldap Refugee Camp, and Timai Refugee Camp. There was like 7 different refugee camps. So we all lived in those 7 refugee camps in Nepal. You know, the life in the refugee camps is all dependable. Like we have to depend on someone who can bring food for us, so that we can eat. And we have to manage ourselves for the clothing. Sometimes they distribute the clothes, but it was like either small or big, and they don't give us money. So as a refugee, we spent almost 20 years in the refugee camp. And finally we were moved. Whoever wants, they were able to resettle in the third country. Yes, and then still we have more than 5,000 refugees living in two different camps, I think. Two different camps. We still have some refugees living in the refugee camp in Nepal.
Because they chose to stay, or because?
Yeah, when we were in refugee camp, we were not hoping to come to America or any of the like a country that resettle us, like some European countries, Australia and USA. We were hoping to go back to Bhutan.
Yeah.
So there was a few steps, some bilateral talks between Nepal and Bhutan, and India and Bhutan, but it didn't really help. So those people who were still in Nepal did not agree to be resettled. They were still hoping to go back to the country. So that is the reason that they were still back in the refugee camp.
Do you still have family in Bhutan or Nepal?
हजुरहरूको हाम्रो कुनै परिवार छ नेपाल र भुटानमा?
मेरो चाहिँ छ भुटानमा दिदी, तर उहाँले चाहिँ पहिले बिहे गरेर उतै बस्नुभयो.
So I have my sister back in Bhutan. She was married and she's still in Bhutan.
मेरो पनि एकदम दाइ हुनुहुन्छ. हामी जम्मा 7 भाइमा 6 भाइ चाहिँ यतातिर छौँ होइन. एकजना दाइ हुनुहुन्छ मालदाई. उहाँको परिवार चाहिँ वहीँ भुटानमा हुनुहुन्छ. उहाँ पनि बितिसक्नुभयो.
My brother, we are 7 brothers, and my second brother was back in Bhutan. He was, but now he passed away. So his families are still in Bhutan. हजुरको?
हाम्रो चाहिँ मेरो बाबाको बुवाहरू भनौँ न दाइहरू हुनुहुन्छ.
So my uncles are still back in Bhutan.
मेरो चाहिँ फ्यामिली सबै यतै.
So all of my families are in US. So nobody is back in Bhutan. I have 2 sisters back in Bhutan. two of my elder sisters are still back in Bhutan, and one brother still in the refugee camp.
So you still have family everywhere,
Yes.
still living Bhutan, Nepal, United States, all over.
All over. And one of my brother is in Canada, so we are like all
Because
over.
not always do families get to come together.
No.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, that was a beautiful story, and I'm sure there's more stories untold. But
यो अति नै राम्रो रमाइलो कथा थियो अरे हाम्रो बारेमा अझै कति कथाहरू छ जुन चाहिँ भन्न पाइएको छैन नभनिएका होइन लुकेका कथाहरू धेरै छन्.
the next question, I want you to help us understand how your culture is similar to what you know about American culture and how it might be different.
हाम्रो संस्कृति र यहाँ अमेरिकन संस्कृतिमा के भिन्नता छ र के कुरा चाहिँ मिल्दोजुल्दो छ यसको बारेमा भन्नुहुन्छ?
खासै अब हाम्रो नेपाली संस्कार संस्कृति भनौँ होइन अब रिलिजन अब हाम्रो धर्मकै कुरा पनि गरौँ होइन
हजुर
अब त्यस्तो साह्रो यहाँकोसँग मिल्दैन पनि एउटा कुरो होइन
हजुर
अब एउटा संस्कार कस्तो नि अब जस्तै अब हेलो हाई गरेर होइन अब त्यो अब हग गर्ने हात मिलाउने यहाँकोले पनि कहिले काहीँ नमस्ते पनि गर्दो रहेछ गर्नु त होइन त्यो तिनीहरू कुरा चाहिँ मिल्छ तर अब कति कुराहरू अब रिलिजनहरू मिल्दैन अब एउटा हाम्रो ट्रेडिसनल फुडहरू पनि अब मिल्दैन नि होइन हाम्रो आफ्नै तरिकाको हुन्छ भने उहाँहरूको अलिकति आफ्नो तरिकाको हुन्छ अब हाम्रो अलिक तितो पिरो अमिलो हुन्छ भने उहाँहरूको अलिकति गुलियो पट्टि जान्छ होइन त्यो खालको हुन्छ.
So, culture-wise, yeah, there are a few differences. Like, even if we talk about our religion, we are, we have several different type of religion, and then like other social norms. If we talk about the social norms, that we usually don't have a system of hugging and handshaking with ladies back, but now it is. And then also, like our foods, there are huge differences between foods. Most of our foods are spicy, sour, and like hot.
Yep.
So those are some of the differences.
I know sometimes I've had the opportunity to eat the food and that's what happens. I eat it and then my face turns red and I cry, but it's so good. I keep eating and then you laugh at me.
मैले कुनै बेला नेपाली खाना खाएको छु. नेपाली खाना अब थुप्रै ठाउँ गएको छु र नेपाली खाना खाँदाखेरि मैले पहिला चाहिँ धेरै गाह्रो भयो तर जति खाए त्यति मिठो भएर अनि मलाई गाह्रो भएको देखेर मान्छेहरू हाँसेको थिए मलाई हेरेर.
So you talked a little bit about the religions and many, but
Yeah.
what are the most common religions for the people who came from Bhutan and Nepal?
नेपाल र भुटानबाट आएको विशेष हामी समुदायमा मेन मुख्य धर्महरू भन्नुपर्दा कुन छ त?
मुख्य धर्म भन्दा हाम्रोमा धेरै धर्महरू छ तर मुख्य धर्म भन्दाखेरि त्यही हिन्दू बुद्धिस्ट अनि किरात हुन्छ.
हजुर
क्रिस्चियन.
क्रिस्चियन त पार्सियली हो पछाडि आएको मान्दैन पनि खासै मुख्य भनेको तिनवटा हुन्छ.
Most of the people who came from Bhutan and from Bhutan to Nepal to US, or if we want to talk about them, majority of them are Hindu, Buddhist, and Kirat. Kirat is another religion.
Okay.
And Christians, there are Christians, but much less. Fewer Christians.
What holidays do you celebrate in your culture that we don't even think about sometimes here in the United States?
विशेष हाम्रो हलिडेहरू चाहिँ भन्नुको मतलब हाम्रो विशेष महान पर्वहरू चाहिँ के मनाइन्छ हामीले जुन कुरा हामीलाई थाहा पनि छैन युएसमा हामीले मनाउने पर्वहरू
कोड पर्वहरू चाहिँ नला थाहा छैन त्यस्ताहरू चाहिँ
चाड
पर्व
दीपावली भयो
त्यो त यिनीहरूलाई थाहा छ नि त यिनीहरूले नसुनेको
फेस्टिभल
हजुर नसुनेको
होइन जस्तै अब यहाँको र हाम्रो त मिल्दैन नि त जस्तै अब यहाँको अब क्रिसमस एउटा महान चाडको रूपमा मानिन्छ भने अब हाम्रो दसैँ मानिन्छ होइन त्यो त धेरै डिफ्रेन्ट भयो र अब त्यो अब हाम्रो चाहिँ अब अक्टोबरमा मनाइन्छ जुन अब मेन दसैँ फेस्टिभल भन्छ
हजुर।
अनि अब त्यसकै 15 दिन पछाडि हुन्छ हाम्रो दिपावली यसरी नै हामी मनाइन्छ
अनि अरू के छ यो दुईटा बाहेक
नयाँ वर्ष फरक हुन्छ यहाँको र हाम्रो
हजुर
अनि अब
लोसार
नयाँ
हुन्छ
वर्ष दसैँ तिहार नयाँ वर्ष अनि अरू के छ हाम्रो
अनि अब त्यस्तो अब रिलिजन
होली होला होली पनि
होली यहाँ माने
यहीँ मात्रै
थाहा
हो।
छैन ल
हजुर
अब यहाँ पनि हुन्छ रङ चाहिँ बदलेर हिँड्दो रहेछ तर अब कस्तो खालको त्यो अब
Festival
होली
of-
नै भनेर मानेको हो कि
फेस्टिभल अफ कलर भन्छ डु यु
त्यो-
does American people in United States festival of color
We know about it, but sometimes we connect it with like a running, and then they'll throw the colors.
okay
Some communities will do like holy. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
अनि अब एउटा यस्तो खालको पर्व पनि छ कि अब दसैँभन्दा अलिक अगाडि हाम्रो दिदीबहिनीहरूले मान्ने तीज पर्व नि भन्छ होइन त्यो पनि एउटा महान पर्व हो
Yes, yes.
दिदीबहिनीको एउटा महान चाड पनि हो त्यो
हजुर,
होइन
हजुर, हजुर।
त्यसलाई पनि हामीले मान्यता पहिलादेखि अब दिइरहेको छ
yes so our main festivals would be Dasai two names Dasara or Dasai and next one would be Deepavali or Tihar which is also called the festival of lights which is 15 days after Dasai and there is another one Holi which is the festival of color and there is another festival especially focused on the ladies of our communities they all celebrate and this is a very important festival for almost all the ladies of Hinduism and Buddhist they all follow that is called that festival is called Tej
Okay.
and especially this is a really great festival for ladies.
Sounds like something we need to adapt in America.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can show you some Tej festival
I would love it.
events. Yeah,
I would
share
love
with
it.
you. Yeah.
Okay, what do you wish people here understood about people in your community?
यहाँको मानिसहरूले हाम्रो समुदाय बारेमा के चाहिँ जानकारी पाओस् भन्ने हामीलाई लाग्छ अरे हजुरहरूले चाहनुहुन्छ के चाहिँ हाम्रो बारेमा जानोस् भनेर
भन्नु नि कि
ओके
भन्नुहोस् न।
अब हाम्रो बारेमा चाहिँ त्यस्तै कस्तो भने हाम्रो मान्छेहरू एकदम लोयल छन्
गुड साह्रै राम्रो लाग्यो
एकदम धार्मिक छन्
साह्रै राम्रो हजुर
मेहनती
मेहनती छ
के भन्नु र थपेर भन्नुहोस्
So if I have to talk, our people from our community are very honest. They are very hardworking, and they would like to follow the rule. Sometimes many people from our community might be in trouble not because of their choice, but because of not knowing what is right. And here when we came here, we don't know the law, and then sometimes I wish the native people from here should understand that we are not still at the equal level of following the law and order, because many law and order we don't even know what the Constitution says and what is the law and order, and we are still learning. So there are lots of confusion in between that, like when something happens and the law enforcement involved, people will be really surprised that there are some kind of restriction in everywhere you go, you work, you speak, you do things differently, and each has a different type of law.
Yeah.
So people should acknowledge that we as a refugee, when we come here, we didn't learn the history of U.S.
Right.
So it's really hard for us to understand the law and order and follow and to be in the same like a same bench,
Yeah.
where all other are sitting from here.
What have been some of the most confusing laws to understand?
सबैभन्दा एकदमै हामीलाई कन्फ्युज बनाउने कानुनहरू चाहिँ के जस्तो लाग्छ भनेर भन्दैछ कस्तो खालको कानुनले चाहिँ हामीलाई चाहिँ कन्फ्युज बनाइन्छ
Or surprising, maybe.
अथवा हामीलाई अचम्म आमा हो यस्तो खालको कानुन पो रहेछ यहाँ त भन्दा
त्यस्तो हुने खालको कानुन त त्यस्तो त छैन खासै त त्यस्तो अब जहीँ पनि जुन देशमा पनि होइन अब हामी नेपालमा पनि बस्यौँ भुटानमा पनि अलिकति केही समयसम्म बस्यौँ त्यहाँको कानुन त्यस्तो फरक त केही छैन अब जो पनि एउटा देशमा बसिसकेपछि त्यहाँको कानुनलाई हामीले फलो गर्नै पर्छ होइन त्यस्तो गाह्रो छैन
So that is not much surprising thing because it is more about not knowing than surprising. Because wherever we follow the law and order in Bhutan, and when we came to Nepal, and even we follow the Nepali law, even though we were in the refugee camps, we have to follow the camp law rules. So it's more about not knowing than a surprising. Everything is surprising here, very surprising because of not knowing what it looks like, what it's actually what is. So, yeah.
Maybe a better question is, what was surprising? Like, what do you know now? You've lived here 10 years that you didn't know when you first moved here.
के चाहिँ कुरा विशेष गरेर भन्नुपर्दाखेरि के कुरा हामीले पहिला जानिएको के पनि थाहा थिएन हामी यहाँ आउनुभन्दा अगाडि अब हामी यहाँ 8-10 वर्ष बसिसक्यौँ होइन र योभन्दा अगाडि हामीले के कुराको चाहिँ हामीलाई जानकारी नै थिएन नयाँ कुरा अचम्म लाग्दो यहाँ आएर यस्तो पो रहेछ भन्ने खालको कुरा चाहिँ हामीलाई के कुरा चाहिँ अलिकति महसुस भयो होला
अब जस्तै अब यहाँको नियमहरू जस्तै होइन अब गाडी ड्राइभ गर्दैखेरिको पनि कुरो गरौँ हामीले होइन अब भुटान नेपाल अनि यहाँको मात्रै कुरा गरौँ है तर धेरै नै फरक छ एउटा कुरा जस्तै भुटानको भयो भुटानमा नेपालमा अनि अमेरिकामा जस्तै अब स्टप साइनहरूमा पनि होइन अब त्यस्तो खालको सिस्टमहरू त उतातिर त थिएन होइन जस्तै अब यहाँको इन्टरसेक्सनमा अब एक खालको त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ अब लाइट छ होइन अब त्यो खालको सिस्टमहरू भुटानतिर थिएन र यहाँनिर चाहिँ अब विभिन्न नियमहरू होइन अब ड्राइभ गर्दाखेरि पनि अब विभिन्न नियमहरूलाई चाहिँ फलो गर्नुपर्ने
जस्तै अरू भन्नुपर्दा काममै त पोइन्टहरू भयो यस्तो कुरो हामीले थाहा थिएन
जस्तै अब काममा पनि अब कन्टिन्यू काममा गयो भने त्यो यहाँको एउटा क्रेडिट पनि अब राम्रो हुने होइन क्रेडिट चाहिने एउटा कुरो अब त्यसमा अब कल गरियो धेरै भयो भने त्यसमा पनि हामीले पोइन्टहरू पाउने अब त्यो धेरै फरक छ जस्तै अब भुटानको नेपालको र यहाँको धेरै
सकिएको त अब मलाई अचम्म लाग्ने चाहिँ के हो भने जस्तै यहाँको नियम मलाई अचम्म लागेको मैले नसुनेको चाहिँ जस्तै मान्छेले बोल्नु पाउने जस्तै कसैले कसैको आवाजलाई नदबाउने दबाउनु नपाउने त्यो चाहिँ मलाई सही लाग्यो
So there are some like a surprising thing, just like when we were back in Bhutan and Nepal, even driving was a huge thing. We would have never thought that we will get a car to drive ourselves, and then in our country we drive in the left side, and here it is on the right side, and like getting a driver's license really hard, but in Nepal and Bhutan it's not that tough.
Oh, sure.
And like even at work, when we go to work, if we are employed and we have to be there regularly, if you call in, then we get a point. After certain points we get fired, but in our country we never had that. We don't get a point. And also it's not compulsory that how many days you want to work, you can. And if you don't want to work, then just
take the day.
Just take the day off. You don't have to report anybody. So you can stay home, relax, and go back to work whenever you want. And the other thing is that very nice and surprising thing was that we came from such a law, a very strict rule and law from the government that we were not able to talk frankly, freely. We were not able to express our opinion. Like this freedom of speech was really huge thing here. We can express our feeling, we can talk what we feel, and we don't have to be scared of anybody for talking. That is a very surprising thing for me.
Those are wonderful answers.
धेरै एकदमै राम्रो उत्तरहरू दिनुभयो.
Okay, I want to talk about school. And
स्कुलको बारेमा कुराकानी गर्नुपर्दा
you can tell us both about Bhutan school and Nepal school, and how is it similar to the United States school, and how is it different?
स्कुलको बारेमा कुराकानी गर्नुपर्दाखेरि भुटानमा हाम्रो स्कुल कस्तो थियो अनि नेपालमा कस्तो थियो र अहिले अमेरिकामा आएर चाहिँ हैन युनाइटेड स्टेटमा चाहिँ कस्तो छ, के फरक छ हाम्रो यस बारेमा हजुर कसैले भन्नुहुन्छ?
स्कुल त मैले त धेरै त होइन, त्यस्तै क्लास 4 सम्म मात्रै मैले गएको हो हैन भुटानमा। यहाँ आएर त मैले क्याम्पमा आएर मैले पढिनँ, यहाँ आएर नै अब त्यो सिचुएसन नै भएन हैन। त भुटानको स्कुल जस्तै अब यहाँको स्कुल धेरै नै फरक छ अब पढाइमा पनि हैन। जस्तै अब त्यहाँको सिस्टमहरू पनि धेरै नै फरक छ। अब अहिले हामीले अलि बुझ्दाखेरि हैन, अब वहाँनिर अब स्कुलमा विभिन्न कम्प्युटरहरू त्यस्तो खालको अब कम्प्युटरबाट पढाउने आदि त्यस्तो टेक्नोलोजीहरू त्यस्तो समय त्यस्तो खालको अवस्थै थिएन, त्यो खालको बेनिफिट पनि थिएन हैन। अब अहिले के छ त्यो मलाई थाहा भएन हैन, तर पहिला भनेको अब यहाँनिर कस्तो ब्ल्याकबोर्डमा लेख्ने सिस्टमहरू छैन यहाँनिर। तर अब भुटानमा चाहिँ अब टिचरहरूले ब्ल्याकबोर्डमा लेखेर पढाउने सिस्टमहरू थियो, तर यहाँ चाहिँ अब प्रायः अब कम्प्युटरबाट पनि अब धेरै नै फरक छ।
Yeah, education system here in Bhutan is huge different. In Bhutan, most of the time the teacher teach us like the giving lecture or use the blackboard with the chalk. And we don't have the big technology like here. Like we don't see the computer, we don't see laptops, and all we do is like one-on-one, like a teacher giving instruction, writing in our notebooks and like that. So, okay.
मेरो एउटा थप्ने कुरो भइछ, उसले चाहिँ भने जस्तो भिन्नता खोजे हैन। अब हामीले पढेको समयमा चाहिँ कस्ता थियो भने अब टेक्नोलोजीहरू त थिएन नै, र यहाँको र उहाँको तुलना गर्दा चाहिँ हामीलाई पढाइँदाखेरि जस्तै पनिसमेन्टहरू पनि हुन्थ्यो हैन, फिजिकली पनिसमेन्टहरू पनि हुन्थ्यो। तर अब त्यो हेरेर यहाँ हेर्दा चाहिँ मलाई खुसी नै लाग्छ, किनभने हाम्रो नानीहरू फ्री पढ्नु पाएका छन्, पनिसमेन्ट हुँदैन, उहाँको माइन्डहरू फ्री छ।
If I have to talk about some differences, as far as I know, is that in our system back in Bhutan and Nepal, if we go to school and the teachers are really strict, and if we did anything wrong, then we will get like a beaten up, or we get lots of punishments. But here the kids are really like free in their classroom. The teacher don't give them any kind of punishments, and teacher and the student feel really glad to go to school. They are very happy to go to school because the teachers are not as strict as we used to have back in Nepal. They were really strict, and so I like that part. The kids love to go to school. And if I have to add on the top of that, like a system was like in Bhutan, it's even though it's all English level, English medium, the schools are all English medium, but you have to work really hard. You cannot miss. You have to. There will be a dictation test. There will be a class test, weekly test, monthly test, and you have to pass.
You have to pass before you go to the next.
Yes, and if you are in like a first grade, there are 3 different exams. like which we call the semester test. Like a semester test, we have 3, like first term, second term, and annual. That's what we call. And first term, second term, it's for the half, or we also call half yearly examination and the yearly examination.
Okay.
So you have to pass the annual examination, the yearly examination, to go to the next level.
Okay.
If you did not obtain the adequate amount of mark, which we have like 100 is the 100% mark, and 40%, if you have to get 40 to pass
To
a
go
subject.
to the next.
No, pass a subject.
Okay.
So there are like 8 subjects. If you fail 2 major subjects, it's like science and English, then you are not able to go to the next level,
Okay.
next grade. So, but if you fail like the selective one, like cooking class,
Okay.
or dancing, or art, and pass all the major, like a major subject we used to call when I was in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, the major subjects were English, Dzongkha, which is national language of Bhutan, math, science. So you have to pass those subjects. If you fail, then you are not able to go to the next level. And if you fail, this year you were failed and you have to stay in the same class next year. If you fail again, if you did not score the right mark, if you did not qualify for the pass, like we call pass or fail. If you fail, then you are done with the school. The
Finished.
school will expel you.
So if you fail 3rd grade twice,
Then you are done.
then you're done.
Yeah.
Wow.
And also, in Bhutan, there is no compulsory for the school. You don't have to send your kids.
Okay.
It's the parent choice. And also in Bhutan, we don't have, when we were there, we don't have the school for the children with the disabilities.
Okay.
And it's a parent choice who they would like to send to school, and they can expel the student whenever they like. Also, like when you when you send kids to school, most of our parents were depending on the teachers and the school to teach them the discipline. Anything happen at home, like if the child misbehave, they will tell the children, their child, that hey, tomorrow I'm going to go to school and let your teacher know, because that was the teacher. The parents hope that the school teachers are straighten out every misbehave that the children do at home. So many disciplinary homework and everything was parents are depending on the teachers and the school.
So that would be very confusing, because that's
Yes.
opposite of here.
Yeah, it's just opposite.
When students get in trouble at school, they say, I'm going to
Call the
your
parents.
dad, I'm going to call your mom. So I'm sure you never got any phone calls about your kids. But for parents who did, were they like, you take care of it?
Yes.
You can
अहिले
explain.
मैले भन्दै थिएँ नि, जस्तै हाम्रो स्कुलमा चाहिँ के हुन्थ्यो भने हाम्रो नानीहरूले घरमै बदमास गरेर भोलि पर्खी म तेरो टिचरलाई चाहिँ कल गरेर भन्छु भनिन्थ्यो नि हामीले, अझै पनि भनिन्छ,
गरिन्छ त्यो त टिचरलाई
हजुर कम्प्लेन गरिन्छ। तर यहाँको सिस्टम चाहिँ के हुन्छ भने अब उहाँ चाहिँ हामी टिचरलाई भन्छौँ भनेर, यहाँ चाहिँ टिचरले त बदमास गरेँ मैले भनेको नोटेन, म तेरो प्यारेन्टलाई कल गर्छु भने, होइन तिम्रो प्यारेन्टलाई कल गर्छु भने, यो चाहिँ उल्टा छ। हो, यो चाहिँ डिफ्रेन्सेस छ। जस्तै अब हामीले त अलिकति बुझेको छ, बुझ्दै नबुझ्नु भएको जस्तो पनि इलिटरेट हाम्रो जति पनि प्यारेन्ट्सहरू हुनुहुन्छ होइन, जस्तै अलिकति अशिक्षित हुनुहुन्छ, उहाँहरूको लागि त स्कुलबाट फोन आउँदा त उहाँ त सरप्राइज हुनुभयो नि त, अचम्म हुनुभयो नि त उहाँहरू त, किनभने अरे यो कुरा त स्कुलले पो गर्नुपर्ने, मलाई पो सुनाइरहेको छ स्कुलले भन्ने खालको त हामीलाई भइरहेको छ नि, हुन्छ हुँदैन? हजुर, त्यही सेराले भन्दै हुनुहुन्थ्यो। अहिले
धेरै नै फरक छ नि, किनभने अब यहाँको सिस्टम र भुटानको सिस्टम, अब पहिला भुटानमा अब हामी त्यत्रो दाजुभाइ थियौँ, खोइ स्कुल गए पनि भयो नगए पनि, तर यहाँनिर चाहिँ अब जन्मे जति चाहिँ सबै नै अब टाइम पुगेपछि स्कुल जानै पर्ने
गएन भने त्यसलाई इन्भेस्टिगेसन गरि नै हाल्छ नि त यहाँ।
त्यति
So yeah, the same thing that I shared you earlier. In Bhutan, it's parent choice, and if whoever they want to send to school, they will send. If they don't want to, then they can just keep them
They
home.
can just stay home.
But here, it's compulsory. It's mandatory that you have to send your kid to school.
So you all had the opportunity to go to school in Bhutan, but many of your kids went to school in Nepal, and then also here
In the refugee camp.
in the refugee camp.
Yeah, I studied at a refugee camp.
You too?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me about school? How it was similar? Maybe is it similar to the Bhutanese school in the refugee camp in Nepal, or was it different?
I think it's about different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because when refugee camps, we don't have infrastructure. तपाईँ भनिदिनु न
हजुर।
हामीसँग त्यो साधन थिएन, हामीसँग त्यो जस्तै हामीसँग स्कुल त्यति राम्रो थिएन, पर्याप्त थिएन। त्योपछि धेरै विद्यार्थी पढ्नुपर्ने भयो। धेरै एउटा क्लासमा जस्तै लगभग झन्डै 70 जना नि हुन्थ्यो कुनैमा। एउटा टिचर हुन्थे, ऊ अगाडिबाट बोल्थे, त्यो कसैले सुन्नेले सुन्दै नसुन्ने अनि त्यो त्यस्तो खालको पनि हुन्थ्यो होइन। जे होस् तर पढाइ चाहिँ हाम्रो एकदम स्ट्यान्डर्डै थियो। हामीले अमेरिकन इङ्ग्लिस पढियो होइन, ब्रिटेन इङ्ग्लिस पढियो। त्यो भएर पनि होला अहिले होइन, प्रायः जस्तो प्यारेन्ट नै भनौँ न, हामी उहाँ विद्यार्थी थियौँ, यहाँ प्यारेन्ट भएर आयौँ, ब्रिटेन पढ्यौँ, यहाँ अमेरिकन इङ्ग्लिसमा। त्यो भएर नि हाम्रो कम्युनिकेसन मिलिरहेको छैन क्या नानीहरूसँग।
पढाइको लयहरू मिलिरहेको छ, हामीले जसरी सिकाउँछौँ घरमा त्यस्तो प्रकारको सिकाइ हुँदैन यहाँनिर।
त्यस्तै नै हो, तर जे भए पनि पढाइ चाहिँ हाम्रो एकदम राम्रै थियो। हामी त्यति भिडमा पढे पनि जस्तै हाम्रो इन्भाइरोमेन्टहरू जस्तै क्याम्पमै बसे पनि हामीले पढ्नुपर्छ, केही बनिनुपर्छ भन्ने धारणा भएको मान्छे खुसी थिए।
So I got my education in camp, refugee camp. So in the refugee camp we don't have like technologies and good infrastructures to equip the students well. Like we don't have teaching materials, much teaching materials. We don't have enough classrooms. We don't have enough space to sit. So there used to be at least 60 to 70 students in one class in the refugee camp, and there is one teacher giving like a teaching right from the front, and if you get it, you get it. If not, then nothing. So that's how. But most of the time, almost all the students, even in the refugee camp, was hoping to do something best in future, something good, to become a good thing, like a educated person, and to do something good in future. Every people had that hope who went to school, but due to the lack of money, budget, and the good schooling, good supplies, school materials, we were not able to achieve what we were hoping for. So yeah.
Okay.
And in the refugee camp, I have taught in the refugee camp. So it was like in the beginning, we have a really fresh and good teachers right from Bhutan who came as refugees. And I was a student, but I taught a little bit, sometime, and later on when all the educated people got opportunity to go out and do some different job, then there were the education level in the refugee camp started going down because of the lack of the good teachers.
Yeah.
So
because then you also became a doctor.
Then I work as a health assistant.
Health assistant, yes.
And then I left the school and came to health department. Then there were lack of educationalists or a professional in every field in the refugee camp.
Yeah. So now your children are in school here, or they were. What difficulties have students and families faced in school in Sioux Falls?
अब हाम्रो नानीहरू यहाँ छ हैन, अनि हाम्रो पेरेन्ट्सहरू हामी सबै यहाँ छौँ। हाम्रो नानीहरू चाहिँ के चाहिँ कुरामा चाहिँ अलिकति गाह्रो भइरहेछ होला हाम्रो नानीहरूलाई सिक्नको लागि? के कुरामा चाहिँ च्यालेन्जिङ छ, के कुरामा चाहिँ अलिकति अप्ठ्यारो परिरहेको छ होला सिकाइमा, पढाइ लेखाइमा? दिल भाइ केही भन्नु छ? के कुरा चाहिँ नानीहरूले बुझिरहेको छैन, गाह्रो भइरहेछ जस्तो लाग्छ तपाईँहरूलाई, प्यारेन्टलाई, विद्यार्थी दुवैजनालाई?
त्यो अघि मैले भन्नुपर्ने त आएको छैन नि प्रश्न होइन?
हजुर, यही भन्दा हुन्छ, रिलेटेड नै हो।
रिलेटेड यसमै भनिदिनु।
हजुर हजुर,
तपाईँको छ के भन्नुहोस् तपाईँ भन्नु लाग्यो भने जोडजाडै।
ठिक छ, हजुरले नै भन्नुहोस्।
यो नानीहरूलाई गाह्रो भन्दा नि हामी प्यारेन्टलाई पनि गाह्रो भइरहेको छ।
त्यही कुरा हो विशेष गरी।
त्यही हो, एउटा त हाम्रो जुन हामीले पढे इङ्ग्लिस र यहाँको इङ्ग्लिस धेरै फरक छ, प्रोनाउन्सिएसनै बुझ्दैन।
हजुर,
अनि त्यसमाथि अब हाम्रो नानीहरूले चाहिँ खोइ के गरेर कसरी पढाउँछन्। म प्रायः जस्तै हाम्रो सम्प्रदायको मान्छेहरूको नानीहरू देख्छु प्रायः जस्तो त्यो स्कोरिङमा पनि धेरै कम्ती ल्याइरहन्छन्। त्यो चाहिँ के विषयले हो होइन? अब हामीलाई चाहिँ होमवर्कहरू पठाइदिए हुन्थ्यो, राम्रो केयर गरिदिए हुन्थ्यो। प्रायः जस्तो हाम्रो नानीहरू त यो नै छ नि त, कमजोरै छ नि त, हो त्यसलाई चाहिँ अलिकति एक्स्ट्रा टाइम दिएर टिचरहरूले हेरिदिए होइन, त्यो इम्प्रुभमेन्ट हुन्थ्यो कि?
जस्तै अब स्कुलबाट टिचरले चाहिँ अब होमवर्क नानीलाई दियो भने घरमा गर्ने काम दियो भने ऊ त्यसमा व्यस्त हुन्छ एउटा कुरो होइन। अरू फाल्टो जस्तै अब टिभीहरू भयो, मोबाइलहरू भयो, आदि इत्यादिमा ऊ भुलिँदैन क्या एउटा कुरो। त्यसबाट पनि अब उसलाई अलिकति ज्ञान एउटा विकास हुँदै जान्छ।
अनि त्यस्तै पनि हो। अनि अघि मैले तपाईँलाई भने नि जुन म एकचोटि गएको थिएँ, त्यो टिचरको नाम चाहिँ भन्दिनँ म, गएको थिएँ मैले त्यसरी अब होइन, नानीले त्यो ब्ल्याङ्क लिएर आएछ अनि मैले भनेर यसलाई हेर्नुपर्छ होइन, यो हेरिदिनु पर्थ्यो, तपाईँले हेरेर लेखेर पठाइदिनु पर्थ्यो भन्दाखेरि उसले मसँग टाइम नै छैन, किन मसँग धेरै विद्यार्थी मसँग टाइमै छैन, मैले कुनलाई हेर्नु भ्याउने भन्ने खालको कुरा गर्ने। त्यो खालको कुरा गराइदिन्छ। मेरो नानीले जाने होइन, उसले भ्याएको छैन नि, उसले छोडिदियो भने त उसको त डामाडुल भयो नि त। किनभने त्यो जुन अहिले पढ्दैछ त्यो स्कुल भनेको त उसको फाउन्डेसन हो। हजुर, फाउन्डेसनमा त उनीहरूले राम्रो बनाइदिनु पर्यो।
हजुर, so first of all, we learn British English. So there are, we as a parent, we always have some kind of communication gap, like they don't understand what we want to say, the teachers. And the second thing was like the homeworks. We as a parent, we would like our children to have a lot of homework. That's how we have done it before. That's how we learn. So if we have a homework, like instead of saying 20-minute reading, if they have actual writing or reading books or doing some writing homework, math practices, the children will engage more into their work than in some kind of technology like medias like TV, mobile, and other stuff. So those were kind of challenging, both for parents and the student. There was always communication gap. We expect more like homework, and the teacher, when we talk to the teacher, they said they have a homework, but it's a 20-minute reading. Yeah. And there was one incident that Prem, he went to school one day because he saw a blank, like an incomplete work on her child's note. It was incomplete, and he went to school to ask a question to the teacher, hoping that teacher would give him a different answer. But when he asked the teacher, why was this incomplete? Can you just have her complete her work? Then the teacher said, no, I don't have time. I have many students, I don't have time to do this. So he was a little upset with that because he was not expecting that answer. Yeah. If the teacher would leave it just like that, then his child is incomplete. Yeah. In that particular subject. The teacher should have a way to complete and show the student what needs to be done, what she didn't do or what she didn't know. अझै भन्दै जानुहोस्।
त्यो उहाँले त्यसो भन्नुभयो नि, त्यसमा त्यो पुगेको छैन भने त टिचर इनफ नभएको कुरो आयो नि त होइन। अब त्यो नानीको भविष्य हेरेर त उनीहरूले एउटा टिचर थपिदिनु पर्यो.
So by what I know from her saying, from teacher saying was like, I feel there was a lack of teachers, or she don't have enough time to go like help all the students. In that case, I will guess, or I will hope that there has to be enough teacher for all the and for the student.
Yeah.
अनि मलाई कस्तो पनि लाग्छ भने किनभने त्यो हाम्रो नानीहरू त्यतिकै अब कमजोर पनि छँदैछन् होइन, तर कमजोर छ भन्दा उनीहरूमा त्यो के अरे पोटेन्सियल चाहिँ कम छैनन् कुनैमा भन्दा पनि, नानीहरू सबै त्यस्तै हुन्छ. त्यो मैले एक्सपिरियन्स पनि गरेर. जस्तै फर्स्ट टाइममा उसले 2 ल्याइरहेको थिएन, अहिले 3 ल्याइरहेको छ. त्यो उसलाई त म मोटिभेट पनि गरिरहेको छु नि त. अनि मेरो विचारमा चाहिँ के भने ऊ त्यति एउटा टिचरलाई त्यो जस्तै त्यस्तै 22-24 कतिवटा स्टुडेन्टहरू त्यो इनफ छैन भने होइन, कोही अब एक्स्ट्रा टिचर दियोस् ताकि प्रपरली टाइम दियोस् उनीहरूलाई होइन. प्रपरली टाइम दिएर राम्रो गाइडेन्स गऱ्यो भने मलाई लाग्छ उनीहरूले त्यो क्या जति उनीहरूले पढ्नुपर्ने हो सायद त्यो उनीहरूले पढ्न सक्छ.
So if there would be enough staff member or teachers have enough time to guide my student or guide the student, then they will complete everything, because my opinion is, on my opinion, I don't think the child is incapable. The child is capable, but needs the right time, enough time or right guidance to complete what he has to, or he or she has to complete at school. Yeah. As I say that the way that we teach at home is different from the teacher from what they learn at school. So we already have a challenge, but we would expect the school will think about having enough teacher or enough time for the kids, for our student to get help.
Yeah, that's great. Anything else anybody would like to share about difficulties?
केही कुराहरू च्यालेन्जेसहरू यस्तै उहाँले भने जस्तै अरू केही पनि छ त कसैलाई सायद
त्यसमै थप्ने एउटा
हजुर
यो टिचरहरूले हामीलाई क्वेसन एराइज गर्नुको साटो चाहिँ उनीहरूलाई थाहा हुनुपर्ने हो नि त सर, हो कि किनभने हामीसँग त जस्तै अब स्कुलबाट आएर केही समय त हुन्छ, सुत्छन्, सुत्ने टाइममा सुताउनु पऱ्यो, बिहान उठाएर स्कुल पठाउनु पऱ्यो, त मोस्ट अफ द टाइम त स्कुलमै हुन्छ नि त. टिचर अब विद्यार्थी कमजोर भयो भनेर प्यारेन्टलाई भन्नको साटो त्यो के भएर चाहिँ विद्यार्थी कमजोर हुँदैछ त्यसको सल्युसन त टिचरले निकाल्नु पऱ्यो नि त.
हजुर हजुर सही कुरा.
कि उसले चाहिँ प्यारेन्टलाई सोध्नु पऱ्यो त त्यो विद्यार्थी कमजोर भयो के गर्नुपर्ने हो. मैले थोरै म स्कुल गएर पढाएको हो त होइन नि, मैले पढाउनु हुने त अब म त्यो ल स्कुल टाइममा मैले स्कुलमा बसेर पढाउनु नि मलाई थाहा हुन्थ्यो त्यो विद्यार्थीको यो छ समस्या भने.
हजुर
हो त्यो चाहिँ अब अलिकति निगरानी राखेर होइन के हो समस्या, के भएर चाहिँ कमजोर हुँदैछ हो त्यस्तोहरू हेरिदिए चाहिँ अलि हामी गार्जेनलाई सुविधा हुन्थ्यो. यो मेरो मात्रै होइन, सायद प्रायः जस्तो अहिले मैले भनेको कुरोहरू प्रायः जस्तो हाम्रो सम्प्रदायको मान्छेहरूको यो छ कुरो, तर उहाँले त्यो भन्नु नसके होला.
Good point, saying that like many times I am not talking about only myself, but many of our Nepali families are struggling with this because the teacher or the principal, the school staff, instead of calling home or the parent saying that, hey, your student is not progressing, your student is not doing this, or it is incomplete, or there is no progress, he is scoring a very low level grades. Instead of saying that, we would really appreciate if the teacher will find out what was the factor affecting his grade. Why is he not able to, why is the student not able to score a greater level, like high grade? What is contributing that factor to not be able to achieve the greater, like a good grades? Since our children will be with them most of the day, like a huge amount of time, they would, I think, would have better knowledge because they see them every day, they talk with them, they will be in their classroom, so they should have better knowledge why is he lacking behind, he or she. If they find out, if they help us finding out that one and let us know, that will be much more better than why your student is not getting a good score.
That's
For me, it's a huge point.
it's a great point.
I mean, good point.
त्यसमा थोरै म पनि थप्नु पऱ्यो
थप्नु पर्यो
I would
अलिकति
like
यो
to add
स्कुल
something on that.
जस्तै ल्याङ्ग्वेजको बारेमा मैले गर्नु पऱ्यो होइन अब हामी पनि यहाँनिर आएको लगभग अब 10-12 वर्ष भइसकेको छ होइन धेरै वर्ष भइसकेको छ हामीसँग आउँदाखेरि अब हाम्रो नानीहरू 7 वर्ष 8 वर्ष 9 वर्षको नानीहरू हामी लिएर आयौँ होइन अब त्यहाँनिर पनि अब 6-7 वर्ष 8 वर्षको नानीहरूले आफ्नो ल्याङ्ग्वेज नेपाली ल्याङ्ग्वेज भनौँ होइन आफ्नो ल्याङ्ग्वेज सिक्ने कुरो पनि आएन तिनीहरूले त्यति छिटो सिकेर पनि त यहाँ आएर त सिक्ने कुरै आएन अब यहाँ आएर पनि हाम्रो नानीहरू प्रायः सबैको 5 वर्ष 6 वर्ष 7 वर्ष 8 वर्ष 9 वर्षको नानीहरू सबैको छ होइन सबै अब 2 ग्रेडमा 3 ग्रेडमा अब 1 ग्रेडमा पढिरहेको छ होइन त्यो नानीहरूले चाहिँ अब यहाँको इङ्ग्लिस मात्रै उनीहरूले मजाले बोलिदिन्छ अब मजाले अब लेख्छ पनि होइन तर अब हाम्रो आफ्नो भाषा चाहिँ अब जहीँ गए पनि आफ्नो भाषाको त आवश्यक नै पर्छ इम्पोर्टेन्ट नै छ त्यो त होइन त यो चाहिँ एउटा स्कुलले चाहिँ एउटा यदि सम्भव छ भने होइन सक्छ भने हाम्रो नानीहरूलाई एउटा हाम्रो नेपाली ल्याङ्ग्वेज पढाउने बाटोबाट मिलाइदियो हुन्थ्यो
So when we came, it has been already like 12-13 years that we have been in the United States and in Sioux Falls. When we came, our kids were like teenagers, 10, 12-year-old, and they didn't have much time to learn completely about our culture and our literature, I mean, our language.
Yes.
So now, after we came to America, we have, every family will have some kids that were born in the United States. Those children, along with the other who we came with, teenagers, they didn't have enough time to learn our culture, our language.
Yeah.
And we would like our children, our generation, to keep our culture and our language on and on. So it would be really helpful if the school district would have some kind of opportunity, some kind of curriculum that teaches the Nepali language for our kids, that or the way to, a way to acquire our own language, or maybe make a part of the curriculum.
Yeah.
We would really appreciate if that is going to happen. So.
Yes, I agree. I would love that too. Okay.
एकदमै खुसी लाग्यो यो कुरा मलाई मन परेको छ.
What do you think the schools have done that have been helpful for your children?
स्कुलले हाम्रो नानीहरूलाई के गरिदियो जुन चाहिँ हाम्रो लागि अति नै राम्रो कुरो भएको छ हाम्रो लागि. यसमा हामी मन भाइलाई सोध्नु पर्यो. स्कुलले तपाईको नानीहरूलाई के चाहिँ राम्रो कुरा गरिदियो? तपाईँ एकदमै एप्रिसिएट गर्नुहुन्छ स्कुललाई चाहिँ.
भन्नाले नानीहरूको भविष्यको लागि के बज्यो मेरो फेरि ठिक बोल्ने बेला पनि बज्छ सुत्ने बेला भएछ के अरे होइन अब भनौँ न नानीहरूलाई मेरो चाहिँ दुइटै नानीलाई अहिलेसम्म चाहिँ जे होस् स्कुलले राम्रो नै भइरहेको छ होइन. अहिले सानो चाहिँ अब यहीँ पढ्दैछ, ठुलो त अहिले हाई स्कुल जाँदैछ. जे होस् धेरै हेल्प भएको छ स्कुलले चाहिँ क्या पढाइमा राम्रै नै छ.
हजुर
ठिकै छ
शिक्षा दियो होइन.
विशेष के कुरामा. So I have 2 kids, one is elementary and one is high school. So far they have received a really good education from the school and the teachers. They have been helped and they are doing really good at school.
होइन म त भन्दिनँ.
म एउटा कुरा थप्नु पऱ्यो कि अब मनमा लागिहाल्यो होइन. यो जुन म अलिकति यो लागु पदार्थको बारेमा थोरै गफ भन्न मन लाग्यो है।
हजुर
हुन त अब यो साउथ डाकोटा राज्यमा अब यो लिगल छ यो के छ त्यो त माथि क्याबिनेटको कुराहरू त सबै कुरो जान्ने कुरो पनि त आएन होइन
गाँजा त लिगलै भयो
होइन। अब यो विशेष गरी त्यही अहिले उहाँलाई भने जस्तै गाँजाकै कुरा मैले गरेँ होइन। अब यो जस्तै अब स्कुलबाट अब यहीँबाट चाहिँ नि अब यसलाई चाहिँ ब्यान गर्न मिल्छ भने होइन। अब यसले चाहिँ के त भन्दाखेरि हाम्रो समाज नै एकदमै बर्बाद पनि पारेको छ। अहिले बिजनेसमा हेरौँ भने आज यही गाँजाको कारणले गर्दा यस्तै लागु पदार्थको कारणले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ हाम्रो समाजमा धेरै विकृति पनि फैलिरहेको छ होइन। नराम्रो नराम्रो ठुल्ठुलो एउटा के भन्छ बिजनेसमा जघन्य अपराधहरू पनि होइन, जस्तो हत्या हिंसाहरू पनि अब यही कारणले भइरहेको छ भने अब यो सरकार अब यहाँको साउथ डाकोटाको राज्यले चाहिँ यसलाई चाहिँ एउटा ब्यान गर्दै हुन्थ्यो क्या। यसले हुन त होला यहाँको यो पनि एउटा बिजनेस नै होला हुन त होइन, यो गाँजा सम्बन्धी पनि बिजनेस नै होला होइन। अब व्यापार बिजनेस सम्बन्धी अब यो एउटा यो राज्यलाई नि घाटा त होला होइन बिजनेसमा, तर पनि त हाम्रो समाज त सुध्रिन्छ नि त। हाम्रो 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 समाजका भाइ बहिनीहरू होइन स्टुडेन्टहरू भयो होइन। आज यही लागु पदार्थको कारणले चाहिँ अब कति स्कुलमा कस्तो स्कुलमा पनि ठुल्ठुलो घटनाहरू भएको हामीले अब सामाजिक सञ्जालमा पनि हामीले पाइरहेका छौँ होइन। यहाँ मात्रै नभएर देशमा अरू देशमा पनि त्यस्तो होइन। र यो चाहिँ एउटा ब्यान्ड गर्ने सम्भव भए स्कुलले यसलाई चाहिँ अलिकति पहल गर्दै हुन्थ्यो, बोलिदियो हुन्थ्यो।
So I would like to add something extra on the top of the challenges that since marijuana has been a huge issue in our community, like lots of our kids and young adults have been doing, even I think it has been legalized, right? For, I don't know, that's what he said, like was it legalized in South Dakota?
I can't
Maybe
remember if it was, I think medicinal, yes.
Yeah, maybe for medicinal purposes it was legalized, but many have been like abusing it, like misusing it, you know.
Misuse भयो, teenagerको हातमा गयो.
So yeah, it has been like in the wrong hand.
Yeah.
Handled by our young kids, students, and everybody. Like they have been in lots of legal issue has been going on throughout our community because of the marijuana. So we would, if there is anything that the school district can raise their voice against of marijuana, it will be great for the community and for our kids.
I think that's something that all parents are worried about. I have teenagers too. Same worry. All parents are worried about our kids with the substances.
हामी सबैजना त्यसमा चिन्तित नै छौँ है। मेरो पनि नानीहरू छ टिनेजरमा र यस बारेमा चाहिँ हामी सबैजना यसरी नै तपाईहरु जस्तै हामी पनि चिन्तित छौँ र यो एउटा विषय चासोको विषय हो।
That's a really good point. Okay, so you've talked about a couple things. If we can find some time to include Nepali culture and language in school, or maybe even after school if that's a choice. Better education about substances or some things. But do you have any other suggestions for what the Sioux Falls School District could do to help specifically the people in our Nepali community?
अहिले हामीले धेरै कुराहरू गर्यौं, विशेष गरेर नानीहरूलाई कसरी सहायता गर्न सकिन्छ, नेपाली भाषाको बारेमा कुराकानी गर्यौं, नेपाली भाषा लागू गर्ने अथवा कसरी पठन पाठन गर्न सकिन्छ त्यसको बारेमा, र अर्को कुरा यो अब गाँजाको बारेमा कुराकानी भयो, यसलाई कसरी हामीले कन्ट्रोल गर्ने, कसरी यसको सही शिक्षा कसरी हाम्रो कम्युनिटीमा फैलाउने त्यसको बारेमा, र अन्तिममा भन्नुपर्दाखेरि नेपाली समाजले चाहिँ स्कुल डिस्ट्रिक्टले चाहिँ के गरिदियोस् र हाम्रो नानीहरूलाई फाइदा हुन्छ, हाम्रो कम्युनिटीलाई राम्रो हुन्छ, हाम्रो नानीहरूलाई विद्यार्थीहरूलाई फाइदा हुन्छ भन्ने खालको अलिकति केही राखिदिनुहुन्छ विचार, के गरिदियोस् चाहिँ राम्रो होला जस्तो लाग्छ
मलाई त हैन, तर मेरो एउटा चीज छ भन्नु भने तपाई भन्नुहोस् न, लास्टमा थपिदिनु पर्यो।
मेरो लगभग
दिल भाइको के छ विशेष स्कुलले के गरिदियोस् जस्तो लाग्छ हजुरको नानीलाई? सबै कुरो राम्रै गरिरहेको छ
सबै राम्रै छन् हाम्रो स्कुलमा फ्यान्सहरू त राम्रै छन् कि छैन
छ
कुनै कुनै पाटामा त वाल छ जस्तो लाग्यो
हजुर हजुर
कि छैन
स्कुलको बारेमा मैले अलिक थोरै बोल्नु पऱ्यो कि
छ होला सायद।
यतापट्टि मलाई पोल छ जस्तो लाग्यो वेस्टहरू बारिदिएर राम्रो सेक्योर होइन जालीहरू लगाइदिएपछि त्यो विद्यार्थीहरू हराउने सम्भावना कम हुन्थ्यो
त्यो भयो अनि अब सेक्युरिटी
त्यो पनि एकदम के चिन्ताको विषयको कुरो हो क्या
So we need our school more secure, like it's open for everybody, for public. So if it could be like we need to have a fence around our school property. Yeah, we saw that there is some kind of metal fencing around the playground, but it's not all over.
Okay.
So we would feel much secure about our kids. So security guard के भन्ने
अनि मैले चाहिँ अब यो स्कुलको लागि चाहिँ होइन स्कुलमा अब अलिकति पर्याप्त रूपमा चाहिँ सेक्युरिटी चाहिँ भयो भने अझै नानीहरूलाई सुरक्षित हुन्छ होइन कति ठाउँमा त मैले लास्ट इयर सुनेको होइन अब यता क्यालिफोर्नियामा कहाँनिर हो स्कुलभित्रै नि त्यहाँनिर अब धेरै क्षति पुग्यो होइन बाहिरको आतङ्कवादीहरूले चाहिँ त्यस्तो धेरै स्टुडेन्टहरू पनि मार्यो अरे भनेर हामीले सुनेको मात्रै थियो चाहिँ होइन खास सत्य कहाँसम्म र अब त्यस्तो खालको एउटा सिक्योर अब छ भने चाहिँ सुरक्षित हुन्छ नानीहरूलाई होइन
Our talk about the security was because we have heard there were some school incident where the guns were involved, you know, California or somewhere in different states. So we just wanted to make sure that our kids, when they go to school, are safe and secure. Okay.
All right. Any last things anybody wants to share?
अन्तिममा कसैलाई केही भन्नु छ विशेष छैन भने अब म ऱ्याप अप गरिदिन्छु
पैसा कसले दिन्छ
धन्यवाद अब विशेष गरी अब हामीलाई हाम्रो समाजभित्र भएका कुराहरू होइन हाम्रा मनमा लागेका कुराहरू एउटा भन्ने एउटा तपाईँहरूको माझमा राख्ने एउटा अवसर दिनुभयो यहाँहरूलाई धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु
So I am really grateful and thankful for this opportunity, for letting us to express our feeling and views about our community and our student. I really appreciate the time and effort of what you have done.
Well, I am thankful and grateful for all of you for coming to share just a little bit. And I think in Nepali I say "Dhanyavad."
धन्यवाद तपाईहरु सबैजना आज यसो तपाईहरुको आफ्नो विचारहरु पोख्नलाई यहाँ आइदिनु भयो समय एकदमै अनुकूल समय भए तापनि समय मिलाएर आइदिनु भएकोमा धेरै धन्यवाद तपाईहरुलाई
नमस्ते
Namaste. Thank you.